Hi everyone, welcome to another Tales and Tales program. Today I'm going to have two videos, so you'll want to make sure you're watching the right one. One is going to be for the folding book animal, and one is going to be for the cut and fold. So this one's going to be a little bit longer and it's going to be a little more detailed, and this one will be a little bit shorter depending on the pages you have. So just make sure you're watching those videos, the right one that goes with your kit that you picked up. And just to let you know, I'll put a link down below the video for the website where I got a lot of the patterns. I did get some from some other sites, but this one in particular has quite a few free patterns, and they include some of the top fan favorites. They've got words if you want to do something for a gift or a holiday or a special event. And they've got some other things that are just, you know, pretty things, flowers and things like that. So I will put the links for those, but they also do have some fan favorites. I know a lot of people would probably like those, things like Mickey Mouse, Batman, you know, stuff like that. So I will put the link below for the site that has those. You do have to register like an account, but it's a zero charge and they email you. You can go into your account to download them, or you can go through your email. So I will include that down below the video. Also, as you're doing these, just take a break once in a while, bending over the book for a long time, pressing down the pages to make the creases. Your hands and your neck can get a little tired, so just take a break once in a while if you need to. And we would love to see some of your finished products to see how they all look. We've got the koala here and the elephant here, but I'd love to see some of the other animals and see how they turned out. Also, I want to go ahead and take a moment now to mention our programs coming up. The next 3 programs are actually going to be live through Zoom. We'll be doing an owl dissection, so you would pick up your kit with your owl pellet, and then we're going to go live while we dissect them so that we can share with each other as we're finding things. And you'll get a sheet that'll kind of give you some ideas of what you might be looking at as you're going through those. So that'll be fun, and we'll learn a little more about owls. And then the next 2 are going to be games. So the first one is going to be Animal Olympics. So I'm going to give you a question like the fastest land animal, and I'm going to give you 3 animals, and you're going to tell me which one got the gold, the silver, and the bronze. And we'll do that for some kind of animal trivia. And then the third video online live is going to be a bring your own book game. So what you'll do is we'll start the game and you'll bring a book. I will give you some kind of prompt. The one that we have down in the lobby is describe the inside of a beehive. And so you'll just open your book and try and find a sentence that would fit that prompt. And then we'll kind of vote on who's got the funniest answer, the best answer, the worst answer, and play a game that way. It could be something like who let the dogs out? What is the worst toy to give a cat? What did the vet say to the squirrel? You know, things like that. And you're gonna find quotes in books. And then occasionally we may just decide that you need to go grab another book in your house, and we'll give you a minute to go grab one and we'll do some more. So it should be a fun game, and we'll get some prizes and things for both that and the Animal Olympics. So we'd love to have you join us live for all 3 of those. You can register online, and then we'll email you the code for the Zoom meeting to join us. And those should be fun. And hopefully, if things go well with the mandates and such, we might be able to do an outdoor celebration for the end of our summer reading. So we're excited, looking forward to possibly doing that. Please keep turning in your reading logs. We're doing drawings weekly for teens and adults. So if you'll just turn in those reading logs, we'll draw names and get prizes for people. Together we've got little prize packages. And then I also wanted to remind you that last week we did not have a video, but the Jumanji escape room is on the website, so you can go to that. I do ask you at the end if you wouldn't mind filling out just a 1-page thing with also additional ideas for some future escape rooms. The virtual escape room is nice. We can do ones in the library once we reopen fully, but it's also nice to do some online ones, so if it's rainy or snowy, there'd be stuff for you guys to do at home. So if you'd love, if you like the Jumanji escape room and would like to see some more, we'd love to get some ideas of what topics you might like. We've done a Harry Potter one before live here. So, you know, we'd love to have some more ideas too. So if you'll let us know what you think of that, and if you'll go in and see what you think of those puzzles for Jumanji. They're a lot of fun. I've had a few people go through them to test out some of the questions before we put them on there. So it's a neat game, and it's just a Google Doc that you go through and answer questions. So, but make sure you have a pen or a pencil and paper. You might need it for some of the questions. So go online to our summer reading page to see that, and to also register for our next 3 live sessions. Really looking forward to those and being able to talk with you guys and get to know you a little better and play some games. So next you'll see the video. We've got one for folding and one for folding cut. So just make sure you're looking at the one that's needed for you and for your kit that you picked up. And I can't wait to see what you're able to do with those repurposed books. Our book sale room downstairs has reopened. So if you decide you like doing this and you want to get another book, the books downstairs range from 50 cents up to $5, so not bad for possibly making a gift or even something for your home. Also a great project to do with a book that you really love, especially if there's something that has just always been a favorite. There's someone I know who really loves To Kill a Mockingbird, and I'd love to do a bird one with a copy of the book. So just think about that, and we'd love to see you. We are open now from 10 to 6, Monday through Friday, and 10 to 1 on Saturdays. So we'd love to have you come visit and check out some more books. And we hope you're enjoying your summer and enjoying all these programs, and hopefully we'll see you live in a few weeks, and have fun doing your books. Thank you for joining us. Hi everyone. So this video is for the folding book animal, just the folding one, not the cut one. And we're gonna walk you through kind of how to get started and even have some tips on finishing. But this is gonna be a project you mainly do on your own, so, and it's a pretty easy one, but it's a lot of fun. You can see, this is the one that we had on display. It's a koala hanging onto a tree. I am below the video, as I said earlier, I'll include the link where you can get other patterns that you may want to try, and we'll talk a little bit about the patterns and how they're laid out. You should have gotten in your kit, you should have gotten a ruler. It's going to be a clear one. You also got your pencil, a safari type pencil. You should have gotten a blank book, and it could be any book, just pages, and you would have also gotten your pattern. The one I'm using for this example is a butterfly pattern. So those should all be in your kit. You may also want to have a spoon or something like that to help with folding pages. And the other thing you may want is, I'm gonna show you at the end how you may want to use some ribbon that can help if you'd like. This is a great way to repurpose a book. It's a great way to, you know, if you have a book that's a favorite but you don't necessarily want to read it again, you could pick a pattern that has something that has to do with the book, such as a mockingbird for catching fire, or you know, any kind of animal. They also have other things like words. They have holiday ones like angels and snowmen and things like that. They also have fan favorites. So they have Batman and Mickey Mouse and things like that. So something to look at on the website. A lot of great free patterns. You do have to sign up with an email, but you don't get junk mail and things like that from it. So it's a great site. Again, this is a great way to make a gift for someone, or to treasure or highlight a book on your shelf, or if you want something more decorative, that would work too. So the first thing we're gonna look at is your pattern. So your pattern may look like this, it may look a little different, but you basically have your first number is your, the leaf number, and then you've got 2 measurements, and those are in centimeters. So we're gonna use the centimeter side of your ruler. This is not, the first page number is not the page in your book, it's actually the leaf of the design. So that's gonna be the 2-sided page. So so what you're gonna wanna do is if you were selecting, we've picked a book that will work for your pattern, but you still are gonna wanna do this to find the center of your book. So this pattern here that I have, if I go all the way to the end, I can see that there's 170 leaves. So if I multiply that by 2, thinking there's, a front and a back to each page, that's 340 pages. So my book would need to be a minimum of that. So what I did for this book in particular, and this just happens to be part of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, I went and looked at my pages, and first I wrote down that I have, if I go all the way till they stop counting them, I have 338 pages. And so what I did is so 39, 40, so I have enough, I have a 340, but let me also see, not looking at this first page, but looking to see what also I have here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so if I look at this page, it says page 3, so that means that's page 2 and 1. So 12 plus the 340 is 352. So basically I have 12 extra pages. So if I divide that by 2, that's 6 leaves that I have. So I need to leave 6 at the beginning and 6 at the end that I'm not gonna touch. Now, I can either leave that because it's, just gonna help the book stand and things like that, or you could actually tear those out if you wanted, but I would wait till you're done with your pattern before you start tearing them out, just to be sure. So, the first thing you're gonna wanna do when you're doing this is to turn your book towards you. And so I know I need 6 pages, so I'm gonna go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 leaves. So then I would start marking. I've already marked just a few pages just to get it started, but I'm going to show you what to do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is notice that your ruler on the centimeters, it doesn't start at the end, it starts in a little bit. So you're going to want to keep that in mind when you're marking your pages. And my first marks are 1.5 and 2.4. So I'm gonna be looking at this 1. Let me put it over the paper so you can see it better. So I'm gonna be looking at this 1, and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to that middle line. So that's gonna be my first line, and then 2.4 right before that middle line is gonna be my second one. So you're gonna line up the 0 at the end, at the edge of your paper, and you're just gonna put a little dot for those. And mark those. So you're going to mark your pages that way. So 1, 2. So I've got 6 pages at each end. So 1, 2. I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is actually the page I'm going to start on. That's why my marks didn't match up when I just did that. So we're gonna do 1.5 and 2.4, and you're gonna see that I have 2 little marks there. So what I suggest then is checking off the one you just did. And then you're gonna just turn to the next page. And you're gonna do the same thing again. And so this one on mine is 1.4 and 2.7, so you're gonna mark that right at the edge there, and you're just going to do a little dash, and you're going to keep going. So let me show you some. Let me get past where you're just going to mark the one side of the paper. So this, it looks like it's the last page I marked. I'm just going to double check the measurements. Should be 10.6 and 13.6 looks good. So then I'm going to go to the next one, which is the next one I have that I need to do. And I'm going to do 1 and 3.9. I'm just going to mark those. And then I'm going to check that off. My next one is 10 and 14. And so you're going to go through the whole book that way until you get to your last. For me, it would be my 170th leave. I would also suggest you possibly could have like a piece of paper that you move down the list just so that there's no mistakes. It is all pencil, so it's no big deal if you need to erase something and fix it. So then when you get to the very end, and your arms are going to get tired from holding the book and trying to get everything straight, so take a break once in a while. Stretch your neck from looking over your book. And then you're going to go back to the first page. And again, I like to kind of hold the book with the spine towards me. So what you're going to do is you are basically going to fold from the edge of the top to that first mark. And that's going to be your first fold. So, and you may have to get kind of close to it, or you may have to turn it just to get a better angle, because this one, for me, the first mark is pretty high up, so it's going to be a little tiny fold. So I'm just going to fold it down like that. Now, the reason I've suggested you might want a spoon is just to make that crease nice and firm. You could use the spoon to rub on there. It's a nice smooth way. Your fingers won't get so tired from folding. Now, the second mark is where you fold from the bottom. So this one is kind of a weird angle, and this is a good example to show you. So you're going to go all the way from the bottom, and you're going to go as far as you can to that mark. You're going to make sure you get that mark. Now, it's okay if your page goes over. I'm going to show you what to do with that. So we went all the way to the mark, and then we've got some left over here. So what we want to do is just fold that in. And you want to try to keep it so that this bottom is flat, because when you stand it up, you're going to need it to be that way. So, and if you want to use your spoon, you can. You don't have to. But it is a little easier than using your fingers the whole time. And then you're just going to turn that this way. Then you're going to go to the next page, and you're going to do the same thing. Now, if by chance you may have a pattern that has a 0 for one of the measurements, what that means is you may not have a top or a bottom fold on that page. So just if the 0 is at the beginning, you're not folding the top one, and if the 0 is at the end, you're not folding the bottom one. So you would actually just have one fold on that page. And so you're just going to keep following your pattern. Not quite to that mark yet. This is not an exact science, so don't feel like it has to be perfect. I'm just going to fold that down. And again, you can just use your hands if you want. It can get a little hard to hold these down, so if you have a large rubber band, you may want to put them kind of over it just to hold it. Something that's not too tight, because you don't want to bend the pages, but just to help you as you're going, because it gets more and more stacked up as you go, of course. And so then you're going to go to the third page, and you're going to keep folding, one from the top and one from the bottom. And you're going to do that for the whole book until you get to the very end. And then when you stand it up, you'll have your pattern, and you'll see your pattern emerge from the book. Now, some pages you might think, oh, that's kind of strange. It has a fold at the top and then all of a sudden a fold at the bottom. And I'll show you what that does is, on this one, for example, you have one page where it's a top fold and a middle fold and then a bottom fold and then a top fold and then a bottom fold and a top fold. The paper is thin enough that it gives you the illusion that you almost have like a cutout in certain areas where you actually don't. And that's the same thing they did with in here. You have it alternating between top and bottom folds that are higher or lower to give that facial feature, and still able to only have 2 folds per page. So you have 2 higher folds and 2 lower folds, and that gives you that shape to give it eyes and nose. So, sorry if you couldn't see that very well. So they have different folds. So some of the pages, it looks like it's not going to make a picture, but once you put it together, you can see that it makes kind of that cut look without actually cutting the paper. So you'll do your whole book that way. And then to display it, all you have to do is stand it up, and that will give you your book display. Now, Some of the books when you fold the paper, it's a thicker paper, or you just want to make sure it stays a certain width apart because you like the way you can see the picture easier, whereas if you spread it out, it might be harder to see the page. What I would suggest then is if you have either a large, almost like a package type rubber band, you could use that and put it on the book somewhere. You could also, I'm going to show you, you can also just use ribbon. And this is just from like present, but you could also use a cloth ribbon that's a little bit nicer. But you could actually just wrap it around here and tie it so that it's closed. And put a bow, and you could put the bow in the front or the back depending on whether you want to be able to see it. You could also use something more clear like a fishing line or something like that to kind of hold the book and keep the pages from going any wider. I've also seen, and this is up to you if you want to do this, but I've also seen some patterns where they did something a little more decorative, like they might put little wiggly eyes right here, or they might use a marker and just a little bit of color and kind of color in some of the pages. But the idea behind it is to mainly do just the folding and to get your animal. But you could do more to it if you wanted to decorate and such. You can do the ribbon on the outside like I did, just because that makes it easy to remove. But if you really wanted to, you could also glue it either on the outside or the inside of the book. Again, this is just a great way to recycle a book. For example, the book that I did, the koala one, it's actually a legal Reader's Digest book from quite a while ago. And this was a great way to just recycle a book that probably nobody is going to want to really necessarily read right now, and legal books get outdated with new cases and new laws. So this was a great way to use an old book. We have also recently, and you may have seen at the beginning of the video, gotten a book called the Repurposed Library, and it has a lot of projects you can do with books to repurpose them. So again, you're just folding the pages. You're not doing anything super elaborate. It just takes some patience and time as you're going page to page, and to hold everything, to crease it well so that it won't stick out at the bottom or the top, and so it won't pop open too much. I hope you are able to get your book done and send us a picture so we can see how it looks. We'd really love to see some of the animal patterns that you guys have signed up for, because there's some great ones. There's so many on the site. There's literally hundreds of free patterns on that site. So there's a lot of different things that could be a lot of fun to try. So we'd love to see some of your different patterns. The website also explains how to, if you have taller or shorter books, what that means. You look at the measurements on your pattern to see kind of what size book you need, but most hardback books will work for most patterns. So just to let you know, and we can't wait to see your finished product. Hope you had fun, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.